Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Pushing Positivity on the Pier, where we introduce amazing people, take a deeper look at their story, and highlight how they're pushing positivity and making it actionable each day. I want everyone to give a huge high-fiver welcome this morning to Seth James.
High five.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Happy to be here. It's a beautiful morning, right?
Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
just a little bit of a backstory for everyone. Seth and I, we go back, what is it, maybe 12 years now?
Yeah.
And that would sound like we're best friends, but the truth of the matter is we met originally at the gym about 12 years ago. Interesting parallel, the first guest actually, April Hinkle, I met her and she was working the front desk at the gym as well. So I just realized that just now.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting dynamic. You never know who's sitting behind that front desk. So for those of you that don't know, Seth goes by GJ Seth online. That's GJ Seth, not DJ Seth. Outdoor enthusiast, explorer, now author. Am I missing anything here?
I mean, for labels, yeah, that's good. Just overall, just good vibes, you know, just happy person trying to just spread the happiness around to other people. So no, you're right on with everything.
So let's see. You have a blog. You're also attempting or in the process of starting a nonprofit as well called the Good Vibe Project.
Right.
And you also have written a memoir.
Yep.
Does that have a name at this point?
It does, but it's not published yet. So, everything is I'm doing the self-publishing on my own. So I'm doing all the editing now. I did the editing. I did all the formatting. I have a friend designing the cover. So I'm just trying to get it out there just to show people like you don't need much to do the things you want to do. Like to write a book, we think, oh, you know, we got to get it published, we have to find the publisher. But I mean, today you just got to write it. You got to find the time, write it, and you know, just be creative. And plus, we already have the internet at our hands, so resources are there. I learned how to edit. I learned how to format. You know, find pictures online. There's plenty of pictures, so it's character building. I'm ready for it to be over though. It's been a long, like 6 or 7 months.
Finding the time, that seems to be a big concern or issue for a lot of people. How did you find the time to do something like that?
I mean, I think we all have the time. It's just a matter of wanting it bad enough. You know, so for me, I've always wanted to write the book, but I don't think I was ready to write the book in life yet, you know? And then I just kind of woke up. I found myself always living everyone else's dreams and working hard for everyone else to progress them, and I kept putting myself on the back burner. So just eventually last summer, I had a bad experience working for somebody else, a learning experience. We won't even say it was bad. It was different. It was learning. It was a lesson, and I just said I need to start living my dreams. So I made the time. I worked. I came home, I wrote for even if it was an hour or two every day. And I set a goal and I stuck to it. I held myself accountable, which I think is important. I think we need to hold ourselves accountable, and once we do that, we have to answer to ourselves, right?
Sure.
So if you give yourself a deadline, in 30 days I want to have this done, and 30 days go by and it's not done, then you got to answer to yourself, well, why didn't I do it? And then you could either make excuses or you can reevaluate the situation and adjust and then get it done. Right?
Well, you got it done, my friend. So high fives to you on that one.
Yep.
So before you were an author, in your previous life, in your 9-to-5 life, you were a recruiter for executives, right? Correct.
Executive recruiter, headhunter,
right, somewhere around there.
Yep.
You worked in a middle school,
Yep.
and you also worked in the health and wellness field as well.
Yep.
So, kind of how did you go from that transition from the 9-to-5 life, that committed job life, to really trying to pursue something that was higher than just that monotonous going to work every single day?
I've always had the personality where I love to work, right? I love to learn new things, but I don't like working for other people. Like I don't mind working for other people, but I want to work for myself. You know, I want to build something and create something that's gonna kind of be different in the world. So I've always had that mindset. Doing the headhunting thing and just you go through life, I didn't always know how to kind of put that mindset into gear that I can actually do things for myself. I was just kind of stuck in that same pattern that we all get stuck in. We go to job. We get up every morning. We go to our 9-to-5 job. We come home, and then we just repeat it day after day. And for me, that started getting painful. Just doing the same thing day after day after day. And the most recent, when I was working, managing a retail store for about 3 years, it just took a toll. It got boring. I reached the top. I mean, I didn't want to go any further from where I was, and it just wasn't. There was no growth in my mind. So I crave new experiences, and I crave just to learn.
Where do you think that craving comes from?
I think we all want to learn, right? I think it's in all of us, but I think life just kind of programs or sets us up. It kind of programs us just to accept things as they are and stop learning. And I think once we stop learning, we stop growing. And even like recently, for me, like it's all right. I have a lot. My projects I'm working on, but now, what am I doing? Like I need to reevaluate. I reevaluate myself every day, morning and night. I'm always looking at what I've done, what I can do, what I could do better, and how I could be better in the future. So it's just, for me, I just won't accept that there's just 9 to 5, and I don't accept unhappiness. I want to experience as much of this life as I can. And
just to be clear, just because you work a 9 to 5 doesn't necessarily mean you're unhappy, correct?
Right. Yeah. So we'll rephrase. For me, like 9 to 5 doesn't always mean unhappy, but I guess we do use that as a kind of like a broad description, right? Oh, you're working a 9 to 5. Because a lot of people are unhappy who do work like the 9 to 5. And 9 to 5 could be 11 to 7, 12 to 8, whatever. But there was an article or a study done about almost 90% of people are unhappy with the jobs that they go to. 87% of people.
Why do you think that is?
Because they're not doing things that are fulfilling a deeper purpose within inside them. They have bigger dreams or bigger passions that they want to do, but they just accept that they can only do the things that they've been led to believe. I think we go through a conditioning in life, like we're taught so much, and so much is thrown at us from an early age, from parents, from schools, from religious outlets, and from television and everything else, right? And then I think we get to a point where we kind of open our eyes and like, is this all there is? What happened to my dreams? And I think a lot of people aren't doing what makes them happy, and that's why they're not happy going to the job. Maybe they're working for a corporation, and they have dreams to be an artist or something, but someone along the way told them that you could never do that, there's no money in it, so they put their dreams aside. It's going to be different for everybody why they're unhappy. I mean, we could probably go on, but
and I know in your blog, one of the topics that I saw was about how people that are older, and one of the things that's most troubling is when they have regrets about stuff that they hadn't done. Why was that an area of focus for you in terms of really highlighting those people that maybe have gotten up there in age and now they're looking back and reflecting on life and they're going, man, I wish I would have did that. Why is that such an important topic to you?
I've always, from the time I was younger, I grew up in a family. My mother was very negative, and she never went after her dreams, and she never did the things that she wanted to do. She wanted to go back to college when she was in her mid-30s, and she just made excuses. Oh, but I can't do that. There was never enough money for her. There was a lot of just negativity that came from her. There was a lot of regret at a young age, like in her mid-30s, which is right where we are, right?
Not yet for me.
Yeah, well, earlier 30s, but she still had that regret even at the younger. People have that regret at 30, 35, 40, but for me, it was just something I would just tell myself every single day, and I guess I conditioned myself just to believe it at an early age. I'm not going to live a life that I'm going to have regrets. Like, I don't want to be ready to take my last breath and saying, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that. So right now, everything I've done is what I wanted to do. I don't have regrets of anything that's ever happened to me. Like, I don't look at any experience as being bad. Everything's just a lesson. It's taught me to be who I am, and it's helped me grow to be where I am today. So when I do see older people, I've had experiences. I meet a lot of people. I've met a lot of people, and I still meet a lot of people who I think I shared a story with you. There was a woman who came in and they had millions of dollars, one of my jobs, and she had, you just saw the sadness in her eyes. So we started talking, and she's like, worked our whole lives. We made millions of dollars. We have the big house. We have everything that you think that you're supposed to go after. And she wouldn't really get into it. So I was like, well, so what's the matter? And she's like, she was hesitant. She went on, and she's like, well, my father is her father-in-law. He's got like stage 4 cancer or something, and he's on his way out. And then everything clicked for them, or for her. So maybe her and her husband, but for her, so it was a reflection on, I wish I would have spent more time with him. I wish I would have done more with him. I wish I would have done that. And there's regret, and she'll never get that time back. And it's unfortunate that for most people, we don't wake up until it's too late, right? Until it's like, we're a reactive species, humans, I always say. We get sick, then we react. How can we fix ourselves, right? Like someone's gonna die, oh, I should have spent more time with you. It's, instead of just being open-minded and aware, self-aware, right, of knowing what's going on, we wait until it's too late, so.
Sure, and I think, with that self-aware, especially taking a step back for a second, growing up in a negative household with a parent who maybe wasn't the most supportive at times, for anyone else out there that may be going through that same situation where they may have a parent or maybe a significant other or a sibling that may be not the most positive person in the world, what advice could you give to them to how to deal with that situation, and how did you overcome that constant barrage of negativity each day in your life?
Yeah, that's a good question. Deep, there's a lot to it. So I guess for me, I'll start with how I overcame it. I mean, it wasn't overnight, and I still deal with some of the things today. They're still in me, but the way I've gotten through it through the years was just I never accepted the negativity. So when I heard it in my house, I would go in my room and I would deal with it how I dealt with it. And that was, I would just, when negative things were said to me, I would just play that as totally different. I would be like, no, I'm a good person. I didn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it.
Sure.
And I conditioned myself. And although it did take time and a lot of lessons and experiences to get to kind of understand it, I was able to retrain my mind to just be positive. I was, it was still hard, and even though I was going in my room and saying positive things to me, there was still a lot of times where it still hurt.
Sure.
It was still tough. For people now, I mean, you just have to. There's two sides to it. So if it's family, that's hard. You can't walk away from that. If you're young and you're living with it, you can't change the person who's being negative. You just have to somehow just tolerate it. Now I'm talking like if you're young, how I was in middle school and high school. But once we get older, then it's different. Like, we don't need to stay with somebody. If we're in a relationship and that person is negative and bringing us down, walk away from them. Like, I'm very selective who I let in my life now, and if anyone brings my energy down even a little, and I feel it, and I know this person's not right, I keep them, maybe not push them all the way out, but I'll keep them on the outer edges
Sure.
of my circle. But who I let in close to me are only going to be people who lift me up and who push me forward. So like meeting you, like you have a lot of positivity, and I know walking with you in this life it's gonna help us both. We're gonna get to where we want to get to, and that's how it should be, right? Like both each other should be helped. But like negative people, and I guess it's hard too if you're in a relationship, an abusive relationship, right? Everything is different, the perception. It's easy for us to sit here and say, oh, just walk away.
Sure.
But
a lot easier said than done.
Always is, but I guess the biggest thing to take away is just to know that it can be done. And maybe it's hard right now, but know that whatever you're going through right now, in 5 years from now, you're going to look back. If you act now, you're going to look back and be like, it really wasn't that hard to get through.
No, you had brought up, I think those are all great points. You had brought up some lessons that you learned, I guess, to whether it was cope or to really deal with some of that negativity. What were some of those lessons?
From me personally, from growing up?
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, to get away from the negativity, and everyone's situation is different, but mine was, it took a toll on me. It was bad, so I wound up leaving my house senior year of high school. I left school. I dropped out of high school, and I just went out on my own and forced myself to learn. And the lessons were, okay, I have no place to live. I'm sleeping on friends' couches. I'm sleeping with my girlfriend's houses. I'm sleeping wherever I could. How do I make money? How do I get through this? You go through partying stages. I spent a lot of time in New York City in the club scene, But that was like my family for me. So I was seeking what I didn't have at home. So I was seeking a sense of love or a sense of acceptance outside. I was never really looking into myself and just knowing that I could just love myself and that's enough. And then other people or things will come to me that will just add to that, But that's a lesson that takes a lot of time, and it took a lot of just going through stuff. But yeah, a lot's changed since then, obviously.
So when do you think that shift happened for you?
For me, I've always been humble. Like even when you met me at the gym, the first times, you probably can attest to how I was. I was, always I always try to be good to everyone around me. That's always just been in me. The biggest shift was with my ex, my daughter's mother. We went out to California, and when she decided to my ex was very much like my mother, and because we're how we are, we attract what we are, right? Sure. And we attract, we always say we marry our parents if we don't know any better. But so there was a lot of negativity with her too, and not to say anything bad about her, but it was just we did not mesh, we did not click, So she left California with my daughter without. She gave me a day's notice that I'm leaving tomorrow, and I was left in California by myself. So I hit like a low of just sadness, like 'cause my daughter was everything to me, Now she's gone. So that was like the beginning of the shift. I started meeting different people, experiences that just kind of like my mind was. I always thought my mind was open. I always say sometimes the people think they're the most open-minded are really the most closed-minded.
Sure.
And I always felt like I was open-minded, but all of a sudden my mind just kind of went like, wow. And I started like questioning everything, really, like everything I was ever taught or seen or learned, and it just kind of, the shift just kind of went from out to in. And I started to feel more self-accepting of myself, and I never realized that I wasn't so self-accepting of myself, So that was just, sometimes the darkness brings the light. Usually that's true for most people. We have to experience,
right?
Yeah. You have to experience see the darkness, see the unhappiness, see the happiness, and then you get to choose.
So you went from California, now you're back in New Jersey. I know recently, or we could put a time to this, you actually got your bachelor's degree as well in environmental science, correct?
That's right, yep.
And did a bunch of research for New Jersey there as well. Why environmental science?
Yeah, so
And congratulations, by the way.
High five, thank you. So when I left school, my senior year, I went and got my GED right away. And it was funny, I actually saw my GED, it said May, and then the next year, in the next month, I graduated a month before my class graduated. So I was kind of like, I could have did this like a year ago, but I don't recommend that, You do what's best for the individual. When my perspective changed on life, when I came back from California, and when my perception of everything kind of opened, I started having a greater appreciation for everything around me, nature, and I started, my body, myself, my health, my mind, and everything. I started feeling very connected. Like the connectivity that we talk about was real. It was like, wow, like the trees, like I feel good. I'd go on hikes and you just feel so refreshed, relaxed. So environmental science. I went to William Patterson for about a year previous, and I looked up, what's good outdoor stuff, nature stuff. I found earth science, environmental science, and re-enlisted. I said, I'm going to do this. I did it in 2013 with my daughter. She was about 7 at the time.
So just for, I guess, for for everyone out there who may be, in a similar situation, maybe they think that it's too late. How old were you when you went back to school?
So when I first went back, I was 33 years old, and I had a 7-year-old daughter. But I felt like I was at a good point in my life because I understood life so differently, and I was so just like, all right, I love myself, I'm good. Like I can do anything I put my mind to. And I've always had that mindset, but I was like, I'm gonna do this, not only to prove to myself, but to prove to anyone else I come in contact with that you can do it too. And it was ironic that like my mother, she was about the same age when she talked herself out of going to school. So part of me is like, did I do it for that? Part to prove to her as well, but I wanted it, so I made it work.
What was that first day of school like?
Nerve-wracking, because I was a little older, had a kid, and 33 is not old. It's any age.
My audience, it's we have some older people. 33 is definitely not.
No,
not at all.
And that's what I was going into. Like any age, and for me now, like people will ask, well, how old are you? And it's like, however old you want me to be, because too many times, and I'm going to digress a little. We associate what we can do and how we feel with our age. Once you hit 40, it's all downhill. Once you hit 50, forget it, And then you see people who get these ailments or these things happen to them, or they lose motivation, and you just become so conditioned to just accept what's coming to you.
Sure.
But so 33 years old I was when I went back. My first day of school was it was scary, I was overthinking it.
Yeah.
That's the best you could say.
As is the case with most situations in life, the act of just doing it, just getting there. Once you were there, I bet you just settled in and kind of hit the ground running, right?
We are such an adaptive species. We don't give ourselves enough credit for it. We can do anything that we want to do if we want to do it. I mean, how many times we start a new job and we're so nervous, and a week later we're like, this is easy, right?
So fast forward, now you've got the degree. How'd you apply that, and where did you use it, and kind of where did it go from there?
So I graduated in May 2016, so just last May. It was a great experience. I made the most of it, worked hard, and while I was there, I met a lot of people in agriculture, a lot of farmers, because the whole nature thing was cool to me. But I worked on a farm last summer, for 2 summers actually. I worked with cows, chickens, pigs, sustainable farms, animals treated right before they were put out to, the tables. Actually, I worked in a farmer's market here in Hoboken.
Okay.
Got some credits for that for college. So it was cool. Did a lot of research, did some travel, was able to show some of my work. So I mean, anything we do, we should give 100% to. Right?
Sure.
So like, you're doing your thing now, I'm doing my thing now. We're 100% in. Right?
Well, it's our thing now. So.
Our thing now. That's right.
So got the degree, did some work with that degree. Now we have the blog.
Right.
How long has that been? So tell everybody where they can find that blog, and a little bit what it is, and why you started it as well.
I wanted to start a blog when my perception changed, and I had so many thoughts and ideas, and I would write a lot, just whether on a computer, in a journal, and then I would read books and read stuff and be like, wow, like I've never heard this before, but I'm writing stuff down that other people are like publishing in books. So the blog, I maybe wrote like 1 or 2 posts, knew nothing about it, and it sat there forever. And then again, after last summer with the book, I started the blog in about January or December.
Okay.
And I got real consistent with it.
What's the name of the blog for everybody?
Right now it's just under the name I go by, GJ Seth. GJSeth.org.
GJSeth.org. I know I'm writing it backwards, but GJSeth.org.
That's right.
Shameless plug, but there we go.
But I've had a lot of good feedback, and it's nice when you hear someone who's going through something and they send you a personal message saying, hey, it kind of almost something we touched on earlier. When you're in a bad situation in a relationship, I have someone who reached out to me, and they're in a pretty controlling relationship, but they're like, I know I'm not going to be here forever, But and they say by reading my words, it's helped to just give them hope, and that's all we need is hope, right? Any kind of hope, we'll get to wherever we want to get in life.
Yeah, well,
so,
yeah.
But yeah,
it's to see that blog and to see the actionable items of putting your words down, but I can tell it comes from a really good place. I could tell that you have a ton of perspective, a ton of experience, and through your own experience, I could see how other people can definitely pull a lot of value from that. And fast forward to the book, the memoir. What's that about? Where did that come from? How is that different from the blog?
It's a little cold. Do you feel cold right now?
I am freezing. I mean, I am holding back the chills right now, but
I was going to say,
I am freezing. It is August, and it is freezing out here, everyone.
When I'm watching you talk, I hear how I feel, like I'm kind of holding back the little chills too. But yeah, it's August 1st, July 31st. August, right? August 1st, and it is cold. It feels like it's like end of September.
We need
right
a little
now.
Temperature gauge on here.
Right, we might have to add one on the bottom. Now that we talked about it. But I mean, the memoir. It's funny. Everything I went through, like up to when senior year, I was always like, my life's been so much has happened. Like I'm gonna write a book. And then by the time you're 21, and then you're through all these 5 more years of experience, I'm going to write a book about all this. And it's always been something. Again, I think I've always said, and it's been conditioned into my mind that it's going to happen, but it always got put aside. I wasn't ready. That's all. So the memoir is just about the story, and just about just to give people hope. Just no matter what you go through. No matter what you go through and what you do, whatever the effects, whatever you do because of what you've gone through, it doesn't define who you are. Right? We just have to keep moving forward. Like, don't get caught in the past. Don't look at yesterday. It's gone. We walk forward, and that's how we need to see life. Like, let's live right now. And that's what the book is. Like, we're gonna get knocked down. We all do. Like my story is I got knocked down one way. Other people get knocked down another way. Maybe someone breaks a nail, and in their mind it's the worst possible thing, and it just ruins them. Or someone gets a bad grade in school. So in the mind of the seer, right? It's just a matter of how we handle it and how we move forward from it. So that's basically what the book is, and it's just something I had to do because I don't want to leave it unfinished. It was in my mind. I needed to get it out.
So for everybody that may be having these thoughts as well, and maybe they want to share their story, just because we love to make things actionable here, how did you get to the point where you were writing the book? How did you actually get to the point where, not where it was finished, but what did you do each day to make sure you held yourself accountable to write that book?
Yeah, awesome. So I wrote a blog post about it, and everything that I write is not just for the people who read it, it's for me too. So that's the thing I think with a lot of bloggers or people who write, it's we're sharing stuff that is helping us as well. And I go back and read it sometimes, but the one thing that's really helped me is the accountability thing, which I mentioned earlier, which is which is in my living room in my apartment. I have a corner, and I drew a chalkboard, and on the chalkboard I wrote deadlines, reasonable deadlines, because you don't want to say you want to write a book in 30 days unless you're spending 10 hours a day writing, And every morning I would read what my goals were. I would say them throughout the day. I would see it every time I walked by it, and then again at night I would read it before I went to bed on my computer. I had the little post-it notes, and I would just read it, and it just condition your mind to believe it. See it. I would visualize it done. I saw myself holding the book, and you become obsessed with it in a sense. You become just addicted to doing that. And then the great thing is you're working on this, or you're thinking so much about it that you start meeting other authors, you start meeting other people who help kind of keep you moving forward if you kind of get a little burnt out or tired.
Sure.
But the biggest thing is hold ourselves accountable and have an accountability partner, right? Have someone who's going to be like, hey, Seth or Josh, like how's the book coming along? Because if someone keeps asking you that, you'll either get annoyed because you're not doing anything.
Stop asking me.
Right? But then you got to ask yourself, like, they're right, or you just get annoyed and you don't do it.
Sure.
So how bad do we really want it? Like I was at a point where I wanted it really bad. Like I want it to be done. And other things I'm working on now, I want them really bad. So.
Sure. I think, writing things down, just for everyone. I have this book, and what does that say on there?
Ideas become things.
And I read one of your blog articles about, accomplishing goals. And you talk about the surefire way to accomplish goals is by doing three things. First thing you have to do is imagine. The next thing you have to do is believe. And then finally, the last is achieve. Being that that's your magic sauce, what do you mean by that?
So, take us back to when we're a kid, right? When you're younger. If you believe in Santa Claus growing up?
What do you mean growing up? He's real.
Okay. All right, good. Exactly. So that's the thing, but like how excited did we get before Christmas morning? Like you can't sleep, you're so excited. You think you see Santa Claus, you think you hear him on the roof, like it's like you visualize that he is real, so you make it real, you make the experience real, and you wake up in the morning and everything is real. That excitement is important. So the imagination is just, no matter what the idea is, I mean, we look around here, someone sat and they had an idea that they're going to build a building that looks just like that, the Freedom Tower, right? So that was in someone's mind first. You watch movies, you watch any kind of movie, that was in someone's mind. So someone had an imagination, they imagined it, right? Then they believed that that idea can become a reality. Like, I know Santa Claus is coming tomorrow, So they believe it, and you just have to believe. For me, it was I believe the book, I believe my other projects are gonna come to light. And then achieve is just you do the work and you hold yourself accountable, so you can't be distracted by, oh, it's never gonna happen. And what I've learned is don't tell everybody what you're doing. Because I can mention one of my ideas to someone and they could be like, right?
Yeah,
well,
they'll tell you all the reasons why it won't work. Right off the bat.
And what does that do to you?
Oh,
that takes you from here to here, right? Without even realizing. And
lowers your belief.
Yep. So we want to surround ourselves with people who are going to say, wow, it's awesome, man. I see that. Like, I can't wait. I want to be a part of that. And it's like, come into my inner circle. If you want to say, you stay out there.
And I think that, I was just reading this book by Carol Dweck. I think we spoke about it, fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. And that's where you definitely want to surround yourself with people who have that growth mindset, who really believe that there is a possibility to get better each day. Not that it's just fixed. Listen, you're never going to be able to do that. You're never going to be able to amount to something. You want people that are going to really pour gas on that fire, per se, right?
That's right.
And so fast forward, we got the blog, we got the memoir. Now, Good Vibe Project. What is that?
So that's, right now that's,
Hashtag Good Vibe Project.
Hashtag The Good Vibe Project.
Oh, The Good Vibe Project.
Yeah, The Good Vibe. Or Good Vibe Project, but it's,
both,
Good.
Right?
Both of them. Good Vibe Project. Good Vibe, it really goes hand in hand with what you're doing, pushing positivity. It's just giving people hope, bringing awareness to different things. We live for such a small amount of time, and when you see life with an open mind, you realize it's old. The earth is old, the universe is old, everything has been here for a long time. The amount of time we live we're here for like a second of all that, a speck. So the Good Vibe Project is just to say, hey, like, forget all the distractions, look inside at what you want to do, and do the things that you love, There's other things that are going to come from it that I'm working on, bigger as far as bringing awareness to different things and just helping bigger groups of people as well. But it's just happiness, man. It's smiles and just making people smile and giving people hope.
Well, it's definitely a great cause. And when you say raise awareness, are there anything that kind of comes to mind initially that you want to raise awareness for, or is it kind of overarching at this point and it really hasn't been, I guess, super formed, and which is okay too?
Yeah.
Just where do you see that vision going, essentially?
So I'm a kid waiting for Santa Claus to come the next morning because I know he's coming. So I get that excited when I think about it. And I get up early in the morning and I try to not to stay up too late. But this recently, even after talking to you, just that positivity, we feed off each other. Like I'm up and my mind is just going. It's overarching now. I mean, there's so much, there's no shortage of positivity that we need to push and good vibes that we need to share in the world. There's so much more that's happening outside of us, right? It's not just me. It's not just about you. We're just trying to show what else is going on. So we look at on a world view. Like for me, it's the whole world. That's how my vision is. Like there's stuff in countries that we might not think about. There's kids who don't have pencils to do homework, or they don't have shoes, or they don't have clean water. We take water for granted. So the Good Vibe Project, I mean, it's endless, really. I'll work with other charities, and just it's huge. I'm excited.
High five.
Santa Claus.
High fives to you on that. And with that being said, with this time that we have left, what I'd like to do is just kind of kick it over to you and let you address the audience, and really just talk about ways that, number one, they can contact you. Number two, ways that they can make pushing positivity actionable from your experience. And then finally, just the floor is yours. Whatever message you'd like to convey, be more than happy to do it.
I kind of want to do some jumping jacks right now to
Yeah,
warm up.
let's do it together. Let's do it together. All right. Let's just stretch it out.
place.
Stretch it out real quick. High knees, high knees, high knees, high knees, high knees.
High knees. All right, I'm good. So right now, I guess the best way to contact me or to find me, everything will be below in the video, but I have the blog, gjseth.org, which you already plugged so nicely earlier. On Facebook, I created a group. It's the Good Vibe Project, so you could jump on there and add as many people as you want who you think would appreciate it, or not. In groups we could just add anybody. GJ Seth on Facebook, there's a page there. I'm trying not to overextend myself. That's something I think is important. Like there's so many social networks. Pinterest, Tinder, or not Tinder. Pinterest, Tinder.
Swipe past that one.
Nope. Pinterest. I'm thinking of the red one. All right. Well, anyway, there's so many. Pinterest, Twitter,
Instagram,
Facebook, Instagram,
Snapchat,
Reddit is what I was thinking. Tinder, Reddit, same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so many, and if we try to build ourselves through all these avenues, we're gonna just, it's like taking 100% of your energy and now dividing it up. Right? We're not gonna be as successful. So really focus on, like, I say like 1, 2, or 3, 1 or 2 in the beginning, and then I add another one. So my focus has been Instagram. It's GJ Seth Explores.
GJ Seth Explores.
All right, and then you might see GJ Seth. That was the old one that I had, that I played with a little bit. There'll also be the Good Vibe Project, which is there, but it's not. It's coming soon. We're gonna work on that. So those are the best ones, I guess. I don't think I missed anything. And again, everything else we'll list on the bottom.
And what is your best way, or what is your best advice for people to make spreading the good vibes or pushing positivity actionable each day?
I mean, it all starts with ourselves. Right? So wake up in the morning and smile, right? Just smile. Like I just breathe in a smile, right? No matter how
breathe in a smile.
No matter how weird it feels, like if you're home alone, like don't judge yourself. Just close your eyes and this has worked for me. I'll just close my eyes and then I'll hold your face, and it does something to your body, right? Like you feel your face, it just makes you want to feel happy, right? So it's something.
You can't smile and like here. All right, let's all try to smile and be mad, all right?
Exactly.
No, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
There's more going on within our body than just what we think. So everything is connected within our body as it's connected outside. So when you have our facial expression as a smile, it tells the brain happiness.
It's like a high five. You can't high five mad. I mean, it's just
right.
not possible.
So breathe in a smile. Simple acts of kindness. It makes us feel better, right? If we're out, say hello to people. I try to say hello to everyone I see. And you'll
Guilty.
high five to that, right? You know, the thing that I notice the most, and when I go hiking especially, like I'm that one person, I'm that guy, every single person I see, hey, how you doing? We're so lost in our minds, right? We're so lost in thought. We're walking, and even we look around here, like people are just, everyone's going through something differently. Everyone's experiencing their journey differently, and we don't know what they're going through. So a simple, hey, how you doing, with a smile, the reaction is usually, oh, hi, but they smile back, but you see them snap out of whatever they're thinking about, and it just shifts their perception, even if just for a minute, and then it goes back. But you know, that might do something to their body, and who knows, it could help. But it definitely makes us feel good, and anyone who experiences it, right? So if you see, you look at the most successful people, they're not successful because they're any different, or maybe they're different in a way, but they're not any different as far as like what they can achieve. They just believe that they can do it.
Like you said, they're further along in their process.
They're just further along. So yeah.
Well, again, I just want to thank you for taking your time today to have a morning conversation with us. It took some time. We had to get the lighting right. The sound should be good. Got some new check. Got some new mics.
Oh, my mic's not plugged in.
Really, just thank you so much. I know people are going to get so much value out of this, and this is really just an introduction from my end. You've done more than introduce yourself to the world. I wish you nothing but continued success, and as you know, if there's anything I can do to help facilitate or be a resource for you along the way, I hope you know now you have a lifelong friend here that wants nothing more than to just help you be as successful as humanly possible as these birds just fly over our head.
I thought they were gonna come and land. That would have been the perfect, right? It's been a lot of fun, and you know, I'm also excited for everyone else that you have here. I'd like to connect with them, and you know, I'm an open book, and I'm easy to talk to. So if anyone ever wants to connect, like reach out, follow me on something, just say, hey, I saw you on positivity, pushing positivity on the pier, or whatever. You know?
Well, with that being said, there's only one thing left to do.
Run in place. Oh, high five.
All right, everybody. So this has been episode 2. As you can see, Seth James, GJ Seth, is an amazing human being, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day, is connecting with like-minded individuals who get it, who want to do better, who are doing better. And with that being said, high five, everybody.
High five, yeah.